Hello, I'm Catherine Ellis Michaels, and I'm surrounded by artist books from the Cynthia Sears collection. The artist books that intrigue me the most are about personal identity. They reveal how an artist sees themselves and experiences the world around them. They are intimate portraits and offerings. This is titled How to Transition on 63 Cents a Day by Leopoldo Bloom. Bloom is a time-based artist working in film and books. You can find his films released under the name Lee Christ. This artist book addresses Bloom's gender identity, realizing a complex journey towards living life as male. Bloom uses 31 unbound postcards and related printed materials to weave a non-linear travelogue of his transition. On this one, Bloom has printed, "Hi Mom, I am camped here with Rocky for 2 nights. Now I am staying in a yurt on some land off the grid near Medford. I'm having a nice summer so far. Passing as a man is amazing. It is worth getting cancer for." Bloom tells his mother in one postcard that his transition is costing him 63 cents a day. That's the cost of his health insurance and copay for testosterone. While the medical transition may be costing 63 cents a day, his postcards reveal another cost, one that is impossible to tabulate, as in this one. "Mom, please stop calling the house. Me and Junebug are fine. I just can't talk to you anymore and listen to all the anger you have in store. You once said you didn't want me to be queer because the world would discriminate against me, but so far, the only bully in my classroom is you." That every postcard was addressed to his mother, I found extremely effective. I'll never forget coming out to my mother and all the hurtful words she said. It's a conversation that's extremely fraught and vulnerable and can turn your entire world upside down. The vulnerability that Bloom had with his mother reflects, I think, a great trust in his decision. Peppered through the postcards are the reveals of Bloom's transition and how he sees his own self reflected in these moments. As in this one, "Hi Mom, I'm not getting too much done in the film department of life. I miss the time when I wasn't trans, when I could make art no matter the emotional weather forecast for that day. I resent other artists who came in the right packaging and didn't have to lose so much time cleaning up God's mistake. Take care, Lee." I was getting nervous for Bloom as I kept reading the postcards. These are not linear scenarios. Things are good and chatty in one, the next one makes me worry, sometimes they make me laugh. How did things work out for Leopoldo Bloom? This book ends with all these bits in a film canister. I read that as a triumph. It's recorded and edited and like one of his film projects, ready to be released. This is My Mother, Walt Whitman, and Me by Clarissa Sligh. The Cynthia Sears collection is full of remarkable works, but My Mother, Walt Whitman, and Me is exceptional because it does what every artist wants their work to do: transform the viewer. At least that was my experience. Her description of this book reads in part, "My Mother, Walt Whitman, and Me was created for an exhibition for the 200th anniversary of Walt Whitman's birthday. I almost did not make this book because of revelations that recent research made known about Whitman's racism." Sligh's background is in photography, and her photographs ground us as she tells her story. From page 1, "Was I searching for her when I purchased a copy of the 1940s edition of Leaves of Grass from eBay? When it arrived, I felt like I was holding the same book Mama brought home over 60 years ago. When she brought Leaves of Grass to our 2-bedroom white frame house, we were 5 kids, aged 2 to 16, living with her and Daddy. Junior The oldest boy had already run away and joined the Navy. It was 1950. Jean, who had been the youngest girl, died of pneumonia in her crib a year earlier. Sligh continues with her soft illuminated photographs and text, telling us how her sister Jean died and how she thinks her mother blamed her and began holding her at arm's length. A few pages later, Sligh writes, "After we grew up, my sister Lillian told me that she and Jean had continued to talk, had communicated with each other for years after Jean died. As for me, I felt Jean hovering around my mother, but life went on. Mama had to go to work to help make ends meet." Sligh's story quickly lays the hard facts down and probes the growing distance between she and her mother. In spite of the hurt, we can hear the love Sligh feels for her. I'm well into the book when I turn the page and the tone changes, most obviously with the photo of a person's shadow, which I assume to be Clarissa Sligh's, and the first excerpts of Whitman's. In the photograph, there is a bright light radiating out from her core. I see this as a signal of transformation. And with the angle of her shadow and the light aimed at the camera, it appears as if Sligh is looking off the page at me. She has my full attention. Song of Myself, Section 1. I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume, you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me, as good as belongs to you. Walt Whitman, however racist, wrote in a universal manner, as if for all humankind. Perhaps he wasn't thinking of a young child of color when he wrote it, but it's hers now. Sligh's book continues. She is now in dialogue with Whitman, his poems on the left, her text on the right. Then there's this line from Whitman: "I exist as I am, that is enough." And Sligh writes on the opposite page, "Something about looking at those pages, reading those words, was like running through the overgrowth adjacent to our yard. The weeds were high, taller than me. With my arms and hands stretched out, I let go and allowed the blades of grass to surround and engulf my body and lift my spirit toward the sun high overhead. Bathed in warm and amber light, I felt free, joyous, unconstricted and unrestrained, all the way to the edge of that field where the tar and gravel began." I won't spoil the journey that's in store for you as you read this book, but the transcendence Whitman invites us all to find, I believe Clarissa Sligh has found it.